Alrighty, folks, how you doing today? My name is Andy Toronto, and I wanted to spend a little time and talk about ASXC today. So obviously, I haven't made a lot of videos on them in the past, I guess, month or so. And I mean, there's been reasons. I mean, to be honest with you, this has been basically a PR dead zone ever since the FDA approval had been released. So not a lot has happened. Obviously, we had a very stellar earnings report. And that was definitely something very interesting, and we were definitely excited to see that, and we were excited to see that a lot of really great stuff happened in earnings, and it was very predictable. It was a beat earnings. We knew what the numbers would be from the preliminary yearly update, so we already kind of had a good idea where that was going. So with ASXC now, what's the game plan, right? So when we look at the charts here, right, it's one of my highly invested stocks, one of the stocks that, I really, really would love to see perform a little bit better because, it's just had such a rough time of it over the last month or so. I mean, we were still positive on the 3-month chart, and, I have it hovered right now. But if we were to look at the 1-month chart, we can see that it has really taken a beating over the last 30 days. And we might start seeing slight movements towards reversals and whatnot. We might. I mean, it's possible at this price. I mean, there could be another floor that might fall out. It's very possible. I'm not going to sit here and say it's not, just because people, there's a trend, there's an obvious trend. But we got to remember, guys, when there's trends, we have to remember that they usually get broken into an opposite direction. We might see a reversal. So let's look at the 3-month trend, right? So for instance, when we're going up here, right, and we see this, this really great upward movement, we might say to ourselves, oh, it's going to keep going up, all that greed and whatnot. But in hindsight, everything makes sense, right? So when we're looking at it now, and what I could probably say is that we're entering an area, a very interesting area, the $3 zone, and this is where AC Wainwright made their initial investment with them at about $3 per share, with at about nearly about 80 million. So I'd say that's a pretty large chunk of money. I mean, maybe not to a huge investment firm, but in general, I think it's a big vote of confidence. I mean, you're putting that into a market cap of about 700 million. So you're definitely creating a sense of value there. And listen, we're knocking on the door. You gotta remember, we're knocking on the door of $1 billion market cap with ASXC. So there's going to be a little bit of hesitation. Now, one point that I brought up in the group chat was that essentially ASXC, remember, we have a pretty rough history. Okay, you go to the 5-year chart, you see what happened. Right, you see a lot of investors got pretty messed up by this company. There was people who possibly even bought around 76, 80, around there, and really took a beating, really lost all of their money with really no clear sign of when that's going to come back. Now, right now, what I'm seeing that there's there's definitely a trend right now that is in the downward direction. However, I will state that very often in this stock we see right here back in 2017, right around the May period, May right here, we see a drop all the way from 14, almost goes down 50% of its current value, and we could even see ASXC do something like that down to about 1.5, and then you can see as May kind of rolls, or as the months kind of roll along into the later parts of 2017, we see this giant rise, and I really I won't put that past ASXC to essentially be in a position where they do end up losing that momentum. They do end up kind of faltering a little bit, but in retrospect, seeing a little bit of a turnaround. And we can see this downward slope right here. Right here, we see a little bit of a downward slope into an upward. And I think that not to say that the past is going to repeat itself, but we have to remember that this is what stocks do, guys. And we have to remember that ultimately, this is a innovative stock that's going to be a little bit of a hold. Now, something I did really want to bring up, and that's really just, like I said, that whole chart thing is really, it's not to say that will happen, but it's to say that, if you are anxious and you are nervous, understand that, so were the people here, but if they held and bought and sold at the right times, they would have been really, really well off. They would have done really well for themselves, So it's really about understanding the company that you have and knowing when to buy and when to sell. And we know right now is definitely a good time to buy. The greedy question is how low can this go, right? Because it's not good to sell, in my opinion, because we can't confidently sell because we don't know whether or not the stock is going to go up or down. But we also know that with no news on the horizon, the chances of a meteoric rise before earnings are very low. So if you do want to sell if you have another stock you think you really want to get into, maybe give it a little bit of a sell and then come back. I'm not saying sell, but what I am saying is that chances are this price isn't going to change dramatically for the better within the next month or so. I mean, it just doesn't really, there's not a lot of news that we know is going to come out. I mean, could they surprise us with PR? Of course. Personally, I'm just going to hold through. I mean, I got year-long contracts, so honestly, I'm just waiting for May earnings right now. So with that being said, let's go look at some really positive news here. I believe it's in the press releases. Yep. Right here on the insiders, we see quite a bit of action happened on April 2nd, and we can see right here April 2nd, and this is Paul, and this is one of the board of directors acquired right there, guys. Look what he acquired. He acquired stock options, right? So exercisable on the 21st and expires on the 28th for about $325. Okay, right, same one. And I think it's basically it's uniform, I'm pretty sure. Yep, expiration date 28, acquired $325, and this is just another insider. And there are multiple, many. Here's another one, and what would you know right there? 325, expiration date 28. So all of these people are making these buys, guys. And these are all insiders of the company. So this isn't just one guy. So this is a very interesting look. And I think what this is really kind of bringing up to me is the idea that we're going to see some guaranteed growth through that, in my opinion. I mean, we already know revenues are going to go up. We already know that from a financial standpoint, we're looking a lot better than where we were last year, okay? So financially, we can hold this price. I think we can, from our balance sheets, whatever, you can make all the articles about overvalued, and of course, there is sediment to that, given the fact that we're at a PB ratio about 5 right now, a little bit higher than I think it deserves, and its book value is only at about 52 cents, and it's not even profitable yet. But I think going into May, and then into August earnings, we could be looking at some serious growth, because we're going to be looking at serious revenue growth. And if we remember from their AC Wainwright conference, I believe it was the AC Wainwright conference. I don't believe it was the AC Wainwright. It was the ICR conference. I apologize. From the ICR conference, we remember what they said. I remember what they said. They said that, listen, guys, we're going to be growing exponentially over the next few years. And not only that, but the industry itself. Okay, so it's a sleeping monster right now, guys. It's just a sleeping monster. That's the way you got to kind of look at it. I mean, stocks aren't just going to go up, and then never go down. I mean, look at NIO. Look at stuff like that. Guys, there's going to be pullbacks. There's going to be times to breathe, and then boredom will set in, and investors will start pumping again because they'll think that they're getting in at a good price because they can see where it's been. And they can see where it can go, and they can see where floors are, and they can get a better understanding. And that all takes time, that all takes patience. So I wanted to make this video about this because it really did want to harp on that idea that it does really take time and patience to really kind of, I guess really make something out of the stock. So right now, my best piece of advice with ASXC at this point is to kind of hold, like I said. I mean, if you did want to sell, right? I all the power to you. I don't expect any fundamental growth, like crazy, whoa, this is insane, it's $6 tomorrow or it's $12 the next day. I don't expect that. Could these things happen? Of course. Do I expect it to slam down? There's a possibility. I think there's more fear in this stock than there is greed currently. Um, but I also think that if it does slam down, you better press those buy buttons, because at that point, guys, you're getting a great deal, because most of those contracts that those people bought, most of those stock options, okay, those are at strike prices of $3.25, folks, okay? That's currently out of the money. That's currently out of the money, all right? So if we get something that's half of that, oh, guys, I don't know what you need to do to make the money. Whatever you can, make some money, get that into the market. Whatever it is, I promise you it'll be a good move. That's my view. Obviously, I would love to buy right now, but I do want to see it go maybe a little bit lower. I mean, I could see it hitting about 2.5, maybe $2. Just because people get hyped up with the fear just in the same way they get hyped up with the greed, folks, okay? There's going to be irrational fear, okay, that is going to lead to some very stupid decisions, okay? So we want to be aware of that happening, and we want to be able to seize that. And the only way we're going to seize that is by watching and knowing and staying informed, okay? And like I said, guys, I'm sorry for the absence. I do want to bring this up. I honestly, there's not much to say about the stock. Let's be honest, guys. What's it been doing for the last month or so? It's been going down. For the last since my last video, it's just basically going sideways. Over the last few days, it really hit a wall. So, I mean, not a lot to say. Not a lot of positive stuff to say about the movement. And it's basically the same adage I had back at earnings, which was basically like, listen, guys, you got to hold. It's just a hold right now. There's not going to be crazy meteoric rises. I mean, will it go back to where it was and where it could be? Of course. I mean, guys, we got to remember where FDA was. FDA was right up here, guys. That was crazy. FDA approval did nothing for the stock, So it's one of those things, guys, where you really just got to believe in what you have, and you got to believe that the company is going to perform those revenues that they said that they will. And I do really highly recommend that you rewatch my ICR conference video in case you want any more, in case you really want to, it does highlight specifically what their projections are going to be for the next few years. And I think that is so key to understanding how you're going to play this stock. So right now, guys, I would hold. If it goes lower, I would buy. I would buy around $2. I don't see it going much lower than that. Of course it could, but I would definitely consider starting to average up or average down around $2. I really don't recommend buying if it starts kind of shooting up. I don't think that's really smart. I think that you should kind of slow down, wait, maybe even sell some and kind of wait for a pullback. I don't see it shooting up until May, but guys, you got to remember, as April kind of starts tumbling forward, May will be on the way, and May earnings are expected, in my opinion, to do really, really well and show that this company is going to offer consistent results. And I think that's really what investors want above everything, is consistency with what they're investing in. So what we have here, folks, is we have something that has the potential to be a very consistent cash cow. It just needs time to get there, and it needs time to be forgiven, and it needs time to be understood, because look at this, guys. Look at this, guys. I mean, look, so much pain and suffering, obviously, on this graph here on the 5-year chart, So for investors to kind of look the other way, or to say okay, you know what, never mind, I think that is going to be a big big hurdle for this company in terms of attracting retail investors, and in terms of attracting consistent growth within their stock. So with that being said, guys, I mean, it's a great company. Nothing changed in terms of what the company does. No bad events, nothing crazy. No reason to worry. Nothing about the company has changed. Only thing is that the stock price has entered a downtrend, and that might result in a little bit more fear. So be prepared to see more red. However, I would also state that I think that any red below $2 is a buy, and any green. I mean, I can't even say a sell price at this point because I don't think it's going to happen. I don't think there's going to be any crazy growth at anytime soon. So that's what I'm saying. It's just a hold. If you got to sell, if you don't want to hold, I get you. I understand. It makes sense. There's a ton of other stocks out there, but don't be afraid. Don't be caught chasing the dragon thinking, I wouldn't sell your whole stake. I would sell some of it and then throw it into other stuff. That's what I would do if you really, really got to get money moving really quickly. But if you do have the patience, if you do have the time, if you got like a year or two to kind of wait this out, I think you could really see some incredible results. So with that being said, guys, thank you so much for stopping by. I will be coming out with other videos. I'm going to kind of like start looking into other ideas about the stock market and kind of sharing you guys different metaphors and opinions and ways to sort of look at it so that, maybe you can get a little bit more of a clearer, newer perspective towards that. So I'm excited about that. With that being said, guys, please join the Discord. Tons of really great people in there. Big ASXC fan club. A couple other stocks I've invested in. Bohr. We have that if you ever want to talk about Bohr. And we also have some Wall Street Bets channels now too, just because it seems like everybody's kind of into that, and I attract more of a millennial crowd anyways. All right. Thank you so much, guys, for stopping by. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and let's hope we have a good week.